Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, back with another video guide. Today we're playing Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP, the remastered version of the 2012 classic. In this video, I'll show you all 40 of the Lollipop wrapper locations, which are the only missable collectible, and hard difficulty is required as some of them only spawn on the hard difficulty. You can find the first one in the prologue after you jump over the bus in the left corner behind the other bus. The next one can be found after you save your first survivor and saw through the gate into the next courtyard. Here, you'll want to either defend your rescued survivor or quickly go around the bus on the right-hand side to grab the wrapper before you move on. This is the second one we grab, but it is labeled number 3 in the game. You'll then reach this alleyway. I believe there are 7 zombies here to take out, and as you go around the corner, you'll use a button prompt to jump on some boxes. Before you jump off the other side, make sure you go to this little alleyway to the right and grab the next one. Last but not least, you'll take out a couple of enemies at the end of this street, and you can go near the police car in order to get to the next area. In this corner, if on the hard difficulty, you can find number 4. We then start off with stage 1, which takes place in a school, and you'll turn a corner and start this small cutscene where you'll have your first survivor of the level directly in front of you. You'll probably want to take care of the zombies first and find the wrapper at the end of the hall. Keep in mind, survivors are more important than the collectibles probably, so you can get the good ending. And it should be noted that if you restart a checkpoint at any point, the collectibles respawn and you have to grab them again. A little bit later on in the mission, you'll be introduced to a new mechanic. You'll find a blue zombie, and you can attach Nick's head to the zombie in order to basically make progress through the level. Instead of doing this, the first thing you want to do is go behind that zombie to find the wrapper, and then proceed with the level. This is another one where the number in the game menu doesn't really match the number we're going for. This is our 6th one, but labeled number 9. A little bit later on, you'll jump on a bus and then jump down, and you'll find a student at the end of the hall hanging from a window above some lockers. This is your next survivor, and you'll want to rescue them. There's not a lot of time, so be as quick as you can here. Once you rescue them, or if you fail, either way works, but directly next to where they are, there are some lockers, and you basically want to interact with the lockers using one of your attacks in order to break it open to reveal the wrapper inside. You'll then come down this hallway with an interactable door right in front of you. As you saw through it, you'll see the exact same thing that I do. It's a long hallway with an exit sign above your head. Before you go through the door to the basketball game, go around the room behind the trophies to find the next one. Then you'll enter a room with a named boss at the front of the room. In my case, I believe this is Roberta, but it can change from playthrough to playthrough. Take out the enemies or go straight for the collectible, but you'll find the wrapper at the front of the room where the teacher stands. You'll then find a giant kind of firework birthday cake. I believe we're in the library now, and you'll have to defend it from the zombies attacking. There will be 24 of them to get. In the left corner before you finish this fight off, make sure you grab it. And last but not least, for this stage, as you approach the final boss battle, you'll kick open a gate and slide down a beam. This one's directly in front of you and very hard to miss as you slide down. We then move on to stage 2, and near the beginning of the stage, a fire truck will crash, and you'll be asked to go into the back of a school bus and use your chainsaw dash to proceed. Before you do that, turn around, and there's a collectible located right here. You might grab it as you're fighting some of the enemies, though. Then you'll end up inside of the school, use your chainsaw to get through this green gate. Behind it will be a staircase. Go up the staircase and follow the arrows. But once it tells you to turn right, keep turning left, and behind some desks, you'll find your next wrapper. 13 out of 40 if you're just going in order, but technically number 15 in the menu. Then you'll reach this rooftop where there's a shop to your left, and you'll have to use your chainsaw dash to get from rooftop to rooftop. On the second ramp, instead of going further, make sure you turn left. This will end your chainsaw dash, but you'll find a collectible. You'll then end up inside of a gym with a bunch of treadmills. You'll take out all of the enemies to open up the door and the exit. As you exit out, hook around to your left to find a sneaky one hidden behind the door. Then you'll end up on another rooftop, and you'll have to use this zombie with Nick's head in order to clear the ramp. Before you do that, though, find the wrapper behind the ramp, and then you can extend the ramp and move on. You'll then fight a couple of firefighters on this rooftop with lightning strikes, and you'll be able to use your chainsaw dash to the next rooftop. Instead of turning right to continue, land safely and then find the wrapper on the rooftop here. Get struck by lightning 10 times for a missable and optional achievement/trophy. We then move on to stage number 3, and near the beginning of the stage, as you can put Nick's head on this large man, you can look to the right and find your first wrapper for this level. A little bit later on in the level, you'll have to answer a phone call in a bit of a cutscene, and you should see the shiny wrapper directly behind you near a tree. As you put the phone down, regain control of Juliet here. Just grab the wrapper before you move on. Immediately after the previous collectible, after we put down the phone, you can then just follow through the 2 gates here, and the path will naturally curve up the hill and to the right. And you'll find the collectible to the left. You shouldn't be missing this one. We'll then come up on another blue zombie with an interactable Nick head sequence that will open up the next area. To the left, behind these 2 big guys, you'll find a wrapper. Additionally, after you take out those enemies, don't interact with Nick just yet. Head behind him to find a trampoline, and use the button prompts in order to take the trampoline all the way to the top. There might be some enemies you have to defeat first, but if you do this, you'll land on a platform and find a sneakier wrapper. You'll then end up at a shop. Directly after the shop, you'll do a chainsaw dash in order to go across a ramp, landing into the next area. And here to the right, you'll find your wrapper. You may need to chainsaw through a couple of support beams to grab it. A little bit later on, you'll cross down a creek. You'll find another shop, and you'll walk forward. And as you turn around the corner, keeping on the right, you should notice the wrapper. There are a couple of enemies here, and if you go into the area on the left, you do get locked out, so make sure you grab it first. Moving on to stage 4, immediately when you spawn, you'll spawn in an arcade with 3 zombies to take care of. Check out the wrapper on the right before you do that. You'll then end up inside of an arcade machine where you have to find 8 keys to open up the lock that allows you to leave the area. Only once you have all 8 keys can you then return to the center to find the wrapper before you leave. As soon as you leave the arcade game, you should spawn like this with a shop in front of you and to your right. Turn around 180 degrees and find it behind you. A little bit later on in stage 4, you'll do this kind of brick breaker mini game where you take out a bunch of zombies and eventually the goal will open up. As you're exiting, before you exit, make sure you take a peek to the left, and then you can exit. You'll then end up on a rooftop. There will be a helicopter that crashes into the building, and once you take control of the character, you'll have a shop here and an arcade, and you'll need to interact with that arcade to make progress. But before you do that, check out the far corner of the rooftop. And last but not least, for this stage, you'll have Dance Planet directly in front of you, where I believe the final boss battle is. Don't go in there yet. Instead, use the little springboard on the left and be successful at the QTEs to land on the platform on the left. Make sure you grab that before you proceed to the final boss. We then move on to stage 5. Near the beginning of the stage, after taking out a couple of zombies, you'll chainsaw your way through this gate. And as you wrap around the corner, you'll jump up on a car as a ramp. Directly in front of you on the far end of the room, you'll see a explodable red barrel. Use your gun to blow it up and find the collectible inside. A little bit later on, you'll come to this scene. You'll have a cutscene where there's a survivor behind this gate. You'll want to chainsaw your way into the gate in order to protect them for the good ending, which is very important. But they happen to also be standing right next to the collectible we're after. A little bit later on, you'll end up in an arena. There will be a bunch of enemies here. A school bus will plow its way through the fence, and 10 enemies will need to be defeated for you to move on. Once this battle starts, a mini-boss will spawn from underneath a dumpster, and as they move that dumpster, it reveals the collectible in the corner. You'll then reach a cutscene where a large wrecking ball will break open the wall so you can make progress. As soon as that happens and you take control of the character, look to your left, and around the corner you'll find the wrapper before you move on. You'll then jump down into this area, take control of Juliet here, and there will be 13 enemies to defeat. If you work your way down the ramp, you'll find a trampoline. As you use it, the trampoline may require you to defeat some enemies, but once you use it and you do all of the QTEs and there are no enemies around, you'll land at the very top of this little tower for number 35. Then you'll be fighting your way through a bunch of zombies, and there will be these 4 support pillars that you'll need to chainsaw down in order to bring this little platform down so you can move on. And once you do this, you'll reveal the next collectible. You'll then reach the cathedral right before the final boss. There'll be 30 enemies in this room, and in the far right corner from where we entered, we'll want to grab the collectible before we take them out and move on to the boss. Stage 6 is the final level of the game. We've changed outfits, and this is in no way embarrassing. As we're navigating our way down the street, we'll be chainsaw dashing quite a bit. And if you stay on the right-hand side as much as possible, you'll find a ramp that lets you shoot up onto a school bus. If you land there, you'll find number 38. Once you make your way to the end of the road, you'll spawn in this fight with 11 zombies to take care of. There's an explosive barrel in the middle of the room. You'll need to use either an attack or your weapon to take it out, finding the collectible inside. Next up is the annoying part of the video where I ask you to drop a like and share the video with a friend if you think I deserve it. Otherwise, Collectible 40 can be found as Killabilly is at the end of the road shooting lasers. You'll be working your way towards him, and on the left you'll find the wrapper. At this point, the achievement or trophy should unlock, and the rest of the collectibles can be bought in the store using coins. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show, and I'll see you soon. Peace.